everybody, it's Mike from Overground here, and this is going to be episode 5 of the Rainbow series. In this series, we make a deck of every single color from set 1.0, and we take the cards that we pulled, and we build our favorite strategies, and we see what comes out of it. So today, in this episode, we're actually going to be going over the color green, and in this variant, we're actually going over one of Adam's favorite archetypes, and that is the Tyrannomon archetype. So that is what kind of he was gunning for. That's what he was really excited for out of the set. So we decided to make a deck for him. And this is today we're going to showcase what we made. And hopefully he'll be able to get a few matches in. This deck is the only deck so far that hasn't actually been tested in this series. So I'm hoping that my theory in my deck building craft holds true. But let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to start with our Digi-Eggs. We have 4 of the Fremon and 1 of the Tarannomon. So Fremon, when your opponent has 2 or more suspended Digimon, this Digimon gets plus 2,000. And Tarannomon, when attacking, if you've Digivolved this turn, this Digimon gets plus 1,000. In the Tyrannomon deck, suspension is the name of the game. You want to tap as many of your opponent's Digimon as possible so you can just plow right through them. You want your Tyrannomons to all have piercing, and you're just going to kind of take control of the board that way. So Fremon is really cool because you're more than likely going to be putting your opponent in a situation where they're going to have 2 suspended Digimon. The other cool thing about Fremon is that when your opponent declares an attack, they have to suspend their Digimon. So they're already putting you in an advantageous position because it automatically gives you a buff if they attack with at least 2 Digimon. If they only attack with 1, well, guess what? We've got cards in the deck that can suspend their Digimon anyway. And we're going to make sure that we can take full advantage of Fremon. For Tarannomon, I'm debating if I want to bump Tarannomon up to 2, because in this deck, you're more than likely going to be Digivolving every turn regardless. That's just how the game is played. But I feel like the Fremon is just a better buff overall and is much better in the terms of piercing because you want to make your Digimon as big as humanly possible. So that is it for the babies. Let's go into our rookie lineup. So our rookie lineup, we're going to start out with the 4 Goblimon. Goblemon's probably one of the best rookies in green. He's just 2 cost, 3,000, standard, par for the course in that respect. I wish we had more 2 costs so you could kind of take advantage for that memory choke game, but considering what we have, this is just kind of the best we got to work with. So we're going to throw him off to the side. The next is the Akuman, the green Akuman. This card's great. So this card's inheritable, very simple. Digimon that it's attached to just gains plus 1,000. So you're going to combo that with your Fremons, and all of a sudden your Megas, or I mean any level really, as long as it's not rookie, is going to have at least plus 2,000 if your opponent has 2 or more rested Digimon. Plus 3,000 rather. Next, we're playing 3 Palmon. So Palmon is a consistency starter in the sense that on play you reveal 3 cards and you get to add a level 4 from your hand. And to round off our rookies, we're playing Kokuma. Now Kokuma's a bit of a divisive rookie. Some people love him, some people hate him. I'm personally of the opinion that I don't think I would include him in a deck. However, for the case of Tyrannomon specifically, I do feel that he adds an extra layer of aggression that really kind of brings this strategy home. And what his inheritable does is that if the Digimon is level 6 or higher, the Digimon will gain security attack plus 1. And in a deck that wants to turbo out into Rust Tyrannomon as quickly as possible, and to throw your Taigas on the board to give them piercing, you're suddenly running over your opponent's Digimon, and then you're going to be taking 2 securities away from them. So that is really strong because it not only takes away options on the board, it also puts them on a much slower clock. So now we're going to go into our champion. So this is where the Tyrannomon starts to shine, and we're going to start off with Tyrannomon himself. So this is the champion Tyrannomon, and when he digivolves, you get to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you add to level 5 Digimon and 1 green Tamer card. As you're going to see, there's a lot of green Tamer cards in this deck, so we're playing Tyrannomon to make sure that we can add them to our hand and get them triggered ASAP. It also lets you add a level 5, which would be an ultimate in this case, so it lets basically, as soon as he comes into play, he can search for his next evolution. Next card in the deck is going to be 4 Tarannomon. So again, you're going to be using this in conjunction with your Fremon and your Agumons. Tarannomon gets you plus 1,000 for every suspended Digimon your opponent has. Now, let's go back to Fremon, for example. If my opponent has 2 suspended Digimon, my Digimon gains plus 2,000. My Agumon makes so my Digimon will gain plus 1,000, and my Tarannomon will now gain me an additional 2,000 for each of those suspended Digimon. So in total, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 extra that's going to be going on to the Digimon that evolves through this line. Next, we just play blockers, because as we've discussed, you can need blockers to survive. Not really much to say. Woodmon is Woodmon. So now we're going to move into the ultimates, and there's only 8 ultimates in the deck total, and we're playing 4 of the Metal Tyrannomon. And what this does is that his inheritable is that when a Digimon deletes one of your opponent's level 6 or... Sorry. Deletes one of your opponent's level 6 or higher Digimon in battle, unsuspend this Digimon. Now, we've already established that we're going to be gaining at least 5,000 going up our chain into Rust Tyrannomon. And if we include Metal Tyrannomon into that mix, what that means is that if we attack with our Rusty, who we're going to spoil here real quick, just to show you the number that he has on the top of his card, that's 11,000. That means our Rusty is going to be at least 16,000. And if we attack one of our opponent's Mega, guess what? We get to attack with Rusty one more time. So, again, the point of this deck is to give Rust Tyrannomon piercing at the end of the day, and because we're in an Omnimon-centered format, Omnimon caps out at 15,000. That means our Rust Tyrannomons can swing over Omnimon, delete him effectively and swiftly, and then he gets another attack. So our last ultimate is Akuman. This is kind of the opposite to Metal Tyrannomon in the sense of what it does. So while Metal Tyrannomon allows you to be more aggressive if he's in your stack, Akuman instead allows any Digimon that deletes an opponent's Digimon and survives to gain 1 memory. So let's back this up and use the Rust Tyrannomon example again. We're swinging with 15, 16,000, well, hopefully 16,000 because you want to get over the Omnimon. Let's assume that we've destroyed the Omnimon. Now we're going to gain 1 memory, which allows us to continue our turn and play more cards. So now we're going to get into the Megas. So the first Mega we're playing is just one Tyrannomon, just as an extra aggressive option. He's 12,000 to start, and again, hopefully if we can hit those heights of plus 4 or 5,000 a pop, he can go up to 17,000. It can pretty much take care of absolutely any Digimon currently in the format. The next Mega we're playing is just one Puppetmon. Puppetmon serves 2 purposes. The first purpose is that if your opponent has a lot of Digimon on board and they're threatening game to you, you can drop Puppetmon, and then on their next turn, they don't get to untap anything. So you're safe from dying, and when it goes into your next turn, that's when you start, you bring out your big Rust Tyrannomon with his potential double attacking if you've got Metal Tyrannomon underneath, and you just start swinging into all of your opponent's tapped Digimon, doing piercing and potentially just ruining them on that turn. The second thing Puppetmon does is that when he attacks himself, he gains +1 memory. So the reason we play this is that this is good for, again, the situation that we just described, but it's also good in decks like Rippy Rush, for example, because it means so that they cannot attack with their little boys and potentially finish you off. And because he's green, you're already playing green cards, you can evolve onto him as a regular Mega in a last-ditch effort, because when he attacks, you get to gain 1 memory. So let's get into the boy himself. We call him Rusty. This is Rust Tyrannomon. So Rust Tyrannomon, even though I've said that suspension is the name of the game, Rust Tyrannomon actually has a neat little gimmick where if you have a green tamer, he can actually attack unsuspended Digimon. However, his secondary effect is that when he deletes one of your opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, he gets to suspend another one of your opponent's Digimon. So now let's back it up even further and go back to our Metal Tyrannomon example. I can attack with Rust Tyrannomon. Let's say my opponent does have an Omnimon. All right, it's 15,000. So let's say they only have 1 Digimon that's currently suspended. I'm going to attack one of their unsuspended Digimon. And because I'm going to be at least 13 or 14,000 at this point, I'll be able to destroy it. And then because of my Metal Tyrannomon, I will be able to make this Rust Tyrannomon active again. And because of his own effect, I can suspend another Digimon, which will give me an extra 1,000 boost for my Kabuterimon. Now this means that I can safely attack into this other Omnimon, killing 2 Digimon in the process. And if I have Taiga on the board, I'm going to be ripping 2 cards out of their security with piercing. And if I have a Akuman as my rookie, I'm also going to take an extra security each single time that I destroy something. So as you can see, Rust Tyrannomon kind of snowballs into this giant aggressive machine of destruction. And that's what this entire deck is built around. So to cap off our deck, we're going to go into our option lineup. We're playing 3 Flower Cannon. You knew this was coming. Just suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. And the security effect is that when it's flipped, you can suspend every single one of your opponent's Digimon that does not have blocker. Similar to Puppetmon, if this is flipped in your security, it just taps their entire board. When going into your turn, you can just start Wreck and Face and just start killing everything one at a time. But furthermore, for 2 cost, it basically also gives you plus 1,000 if you're rocking that Kabuterimon in your source, and it gives you an ability to attack over something in any Digimon that you're playing. The last 2 options we're playing is 2 Terrace Clusters. This is if we're in a situation where we can't get to Rust Tyrannomon right away. We can take one of our opponent's suspended Digimon and we put it to the bottom of the deck. So say, for example, they have Omnimon again. I'm just going to use Omnimon as a blanket example because that's the one card everyone's trying to beat in this meta. We can Flower Cannon it right away, suspend it, and then we can play Terra Cluster to spin it to the bottom of the deck. So now we've dealt with it without even having to attack it. But there are other situations that come up. This is just the one example that comes to mind real quick. So finally, we're going to go into our Tamer lineup, and we're playing 3 Taiga. We're playing 3 Taiga because we want to see Taiga as quickly and as often as possible. What Taiga does is that it gives all of our Digimon with Tyrannomon in their name piercing. What it also does is that if we are going to be evolving a Tyrannomon from our hand, we can tap Taiga to reduce the evolution cost by 1. That means that our regular Tyrannomon, 1 Taiga, costs 1, 2 Taigas, free. Ready to go. Metal Tyrannomon, same thing. 1 Taiga, 1, 2 Taigas, free. And for our Rust Tyrannomon, if we can manage to get all 3 Taigas out simultaneously, our Rust Tyrannomon will be digivolving for 1 single memory. Taiga brings the whole deck together, and he makes sure that all of your Tyrannomon options will always have piercing. So that is it for that. And then the last two Tamers we're playing are just two Mimis. Mimi is here for two reasons. The first reason is that she's our standard memory gainer Tamer. She allows us to play with more memory on our turn. She gives us more to start out with, puts us to 3. And when you combo that with Taiga, you're using less memory on a regular basis anyway. So now you can actually climb up into a Rust Tyrannomon line with using less memory, where potentially the 3 could actually pretty much take you all the way there. Secondly, Mimi has a really good effect, and if we have a level 5 or higher green Digimon in play, we can suspend her to either hatch an extra egg or to bring up a Digimon from the breeding area in the same turn that we've hatched an egg. So this allows us to be a lot more aggressive with our strategy, because it allows us to go wider, faster. And in a deck where piercing and suspension is the name of the game, we want to get out as many attackers as possible, so when we do suspend our opponent's board, we can just go all in with everyone and clear the entire other side of the table. So that is it for our green deck in the Rainbow series. This is featuring Tyrannomon. And yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you've changed anything, if you have any suggestions, if there's anything else you want to see from green. Do you think we did a good job with this deck? Again, this one hasn't been fully tested yet, so we're going to be hoping to film a match with this soon, so we can show you guys the potential power behind the theory of my Tyrannomon engine of destruction. So yeah. Look forward to the next episode in our Rainbow series. I think we actually have one more deck left. It's just blue. What do you think it is? Stay tuned. Take care, everyone. Bye.